Hello and welcome to the Happy Little Futures podcast. As always, we're going to begin by taking a nice deep breath in and out. Fantastic. So today is World Mental Health Day, and this time last year I did a live meditation. So I went onto Facebook and Instagram and did a live meditation for half an hour, and it was great. This year my husband's working away and it's just not going to happen. I've been run off my feet, the washing machine's broken, we're just having one of those times. So I thought I'd just do a nice podcast and just talk through a few things. So the focus this year is mental health at work. So I thought I'd just do a few things that you can use at work, on the go, on your commute. If you're working from home, how you can sort of possibly build a mindful morning and stuff like that, mindful routine, and just ways that you can start to build in mindfulness and meditation to help support your mental health throughout your day. Before I get going, I just want to thank Rowan Fox, who is the maker of wonderful nature-inspired clothing, sustainable clothing. And if you head to rowanfox.com or Rowan Fox on Facebook or Instagram, you can find the full collection of her wonderful clothes and see her fantastic designs. They are truly magnificent. So, as I said, today is World Mental Health Day, and the focus this year is mental health at work. When I used to work in an office, I got into the habit, before I sort of wasn't able to go into the office as much, I got into the habit of meditating on the train into work. I'd use Headspace, which I'm sure lots of you have heard of, and I would do that for 10 minutes, and it was just a really chill way to start my day. And this was kind of where my meditation journey really started, and where I started to see the benefits of sort of meditation and mindfulness for my mental health. So that was a fantastic way to start my day. Over the years, my work has obviously evolved to now being meditation coaching. We've integrated 3 little children into our lives and all that sort of stuff. It's a different kettle of fish now. However, it doesn't matter whether it wouldn't matter whether I was working in the office or working from home or looking after all 3 kids. There are a number of little things that I can do throughout my day, that I do throughout my day, and that I encourage you to start trying to integrating into your day, just to help support just general mental well-being throughout the day. And so one of the main things for me, I think, is getting to know your breath. So I can't actually say, as silly as this might sound, I can't actually say that I knew where I'd feel my breath. I'd know whereabouts, like how heavy I was breathing or how soft I was breathing, whether my breath was cool or warm, all of those things. I can't say that I would actually have known that prior to beginning to meditate. And for me, one of the big advantages of meditation is that it's a practice of mindfulness. It's a way that you, just like you practice scales to practice sort of playing an instrument, when you practice meditation, you're kind of practicing the foundations of being mindful throughout your day. So by connecting with that breath throughout your day, whether in a micro meditation and just in for 4, out for 6, or even just as we do at the start of these podcasts, you can really start to find that can become an anchor for when you're stressed, for when you're anxious, for just moments when you maybe not quite as present as you'd like to be. Just taking a deep breath, bringing yourself back to that sensation, that feeling, really focusing. It can make a big, big difference on how you feel. And I think that is a really, really important thing that many people overlook. And even I overlooked, to be fair, initially. Even I overlooked the significance of taking a deep breath and focusing on your breath. For me, it's possibly the most powerful mental health tool in my toolkit. Because it's wherever I go, and no one needs to know about it. I can be having a conversation with someone and stressing, and if I take that breath and focus on it, it can help me to bring my attention back to the present, back to that moment, back to that conversation. I can be having a panic attack, and if I help, sort of take a deep breath and use a specific, for me, normally 7-11, sort of breathing in for 7 and out for 11, really helps me to come down from a panic attack, and just really sort of getting myself cozy in a corner and focusing on that breath can help. If I'm struggling to get to sleep, just being present with my breath, how it is in that moment and where I feel it and how it feels, that can really help me. So there's many different ways in which the breath can help. And it's, like I said, it's an invisible tool. No one needs to know that you're doing it. Your eyes aren't darting around the place. You're not sort of moving around trying to listen to different things, not necessarily even distracting from what you're doing. It's just, it's just a really powerful tool. Another thing that I think is wildly underrated, it doesn't matter what it is. Another thing that I like that I used to use a lot at work is listening. And I use this actually when I'm leading meditation, sort of bringing your attention to the sounds around you, what you can hear. That makes a massive difference as well. So in fact, we'll just quickly practice that for just 30 seconds now. I want you to just stop for a second. You can hear my voice. I'm going to slowly become more quiet. And whilst I'm being quiet, I want you to listen for the sounds around you. I want you to listen to sounds close by. And then slowly just expand your awareness to being further away from you, maybe outside of the room if you're in a room, maybe outside of the house if you're in a house, maybe just beyond the space that you're in if you're in a field or something. See if you can hear sort of beyond that field. Really focus on the sounds. Just allow them to sort of come and go and just notice them in this moment. So I'll give you a second or two to do that. Now just notice how you feel after doing that. You might have even heard my little pup snorting in the background. Notice how you feel. For me personally, just allow my awareness to expand in this moment and be present with the sounds around me. My jaw's actually relaxed, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't do that consciously. It's just something that naturally happened for me. And I feel a little less tense in my jaw and my neck because of that. Excuse me, sorry. Like I said, my husband's been away, so I'm quite tired because the kids have been up at all hours every single night, it feels like, for the past few weeks. So just expanding your awareness to what you can hear. It's also a lovely tool to use if you are in a meeting, just mindfully listening, bringing your attention to what someone else is saying. It can even be really powerful when you're with your kids as well. Just consciously making that effort to listen to them. And I know that sounds a bit silly because of course we listen to them, but to really be present with what they are saying and keep bringing your attention consciously back to what they are saying without judgment as well, I think is the important thing with kids. It's the important thing with mindfulness in general, but definitely without judgment with the kids, it makes a big difference. So have a go at that. That's a lovely tool. And I'm going to give you one final little nugget. And this one I quite like. I like it as something that is discreet. I like it as something that for me personally, I tend to fidget a lot and sort of like mess with things and stuff like that. And so for me, bringing my attention just to the feeling between my finger and thumb, or the feeling of whatever my hand is resting on at the time, really focusing on texture and sensations, touch. I think it can be, again, sort of quite overlooked. We're always using our hands, always doing stuff on the go, like texting or phone calling or typing, just anything, always on the go. And just taking a moment to, if you're using a keyboard, just feel the smoothness of the keys beneath your hands, beneath your fingers. If you're sitting in a meeting, just rubbing your finger and thumb together, focusing on that sort of that texture, the rhythm as you sort of rub them together, really focusing on that. Maybe rubbing your hands on your trousers or skirt or whatever you're wearing, and really seeing if you can feel like the texture between each knit piece of thread. I'm not a fashion designer, I have to say. Between each part of your clothing and stuff like that, really focusing on that. I think that as well can be an extremely powerful tool. For me personally, I find that if I'm fidgeting, not fidgeting, but sort of touching with something or have a rhythm going with my hands, it actually helps me to focus on what I'm doing, having that sort of that mindful action in the background. So for me, that definitely helps as well. Like if you've got a ring or something that you like to spin, really focusing on that sensation as you're spinning it, just allowing yourself a moment and allowing yourself space. And I think for me, mental health in the workplace, this is a big part of it, is that even if you are working, if you're in and out of meetings all day, if you're running around trying to get from one place to another, if you're working in a classroom and you're dealing with children non-stop every second, sort of like trying to help support them, you can allow yourself that space. Be it a breath and a moment to notice your breath, be it a moment to notice the sounds around you, be it a moment to just connect with the moment, whatever it is, whatever you can see, whatever you can feel, whatever you can touch. That is a massive thing. And giving yourself permission to do that. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to take away from what you're giving at work. It can just be giving something to you in that moment. So with that, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will speak to you next week. We'll finish off by taking a nice deep breath in and release. Have a fab week, guys.